Hello people, this is your Uncle Grga coming here with a review of X-Men First Class. As I promised, I was trying to review as many X-Men movies as possible before I go watch X-Men Apocalypse in the theaters. So, well, now we're on X-Men First Class. Simple plot description here. X-Men First Class is set in 1962, where a mutant called Shaw wants to kind of ravel things up between Russia and the US to start a third world war during the Cold War era. And because of that, CIA kind of recruits mutants to start the first class of the X-Men, as you can say, where we have Professor Xavier, Magneto, Mystique, Beast, and others. That's my short plot description of this movie. So First Class is kind of a weird movie in some cases because it's kind of like a reboot but at the same time a prequel to the X-Men franchise. I think when they released it they thought it was going to be a prequel, but then they were like, you know what, we're going to try to make it prequel because Days of Future Past is basically a sequel of this, and it gets convoluted. It's one of the problems with the X-Men franchise. It's very convoluted and kind of messy, but it's still kind of wonderful at the same time. X-Men First Class, however, is a great movie, and if you're looking at this as a standalone movie, it is quite amazing. It What I like about this movie that it has the same beginning or introduction as the first X-Men movie with Magneto in the Holocaust camp, but it builds more onto it, so we get to see almost behind the scenes what's happened on that camp, which is very intriguing because it builds even more to Magneto's character and his rage that he kind of has inside of him. And I also like this movie because we get to see Mystique's background more. I know some people think that is kind of a bad thing, having Mystique's past being revealed, but I liked it. I actually do, and she has like a growing up thing with Professor Xavier, who took her under his wing, and I actually like their relation and their overall uh, what can you say, interactions in this movie. I actually really like that. I think they have a good chemistry, James McAvoy and Jennifer Lawrence, and even though their relationship isn't going to a romantic or sexual angle, it's still a very interesting one to see, this kind of friendship sister angle, as you can see they took. And I also like that it's set in the Cold War. It's kind of like they're making our history their history, which I think is really neat. You know, mixing our history into the timeline of the X-Men movies. I think it's quite cool. But then again, I must say Shaw as a villain wasn't that amazing. I don't know why. I just found him kind of boring. Even though he is played by Kevin fucking Bacon, I still kind of feel like, yeah, he's alright. But I don't really get why he wants to do what he's doing. It's kind of like Magneto when he wants to uh, take control over the world and feel that the mutant is the power race. I can kind of understand why he feels that the mutant is the master race and why he hates humans because of his past. With Shaw, we really don't get that. He's just one of those bad guys who hates humans because he's a mutant. I guess because every mutant hates humans, apparently. So I am not too sure about Shaw. He's fine, he's not, but he isn't as great of a villain as Magneto was, or Stryker was, in my opinion. But talking about Magneto, Michael Fassbender is amazing as Magneto. I I was like, wow. I must say the casting choices in the X-Men franchise have always been good. Uh, and I feel the same with James McAvoy as Professor X's outstanding performance in this movie and X-Men Days of Future Past. It really feels like they just nailed the casting. There's something about these actors that just make their characters charismatic, likable, and we really get behind their ideals. So great performances overall. Also, it's really nice to see Magneto and Professor X working together because we before this we've really only seen them as enemies. Now we get to see them as allies, and that's a really nice angle. I really enjoy that, seeing that once upon a time they were friends and seeing how they, went each other's way, or what you can say. I really like that. And there is one segment of this movie that I'm surprised that I like it as much as I do, but it is when they are at the Professor Xavier's mansion, that later become the Mutant Academy, and they kind of train their powers. You know, everyone like Beast, we have Mystique, and we have, I believe his name is, what is it? Something. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's just like screaming, and it gets like shock waves and shit. I don't remember his name. But anyways, all of them seeing the mutants training up the powers, Magneto learning how to control his rage, kind of to use his metal bending powers. I really like those scenes because it kind of builds to the characters, and also we get behind them. And I also that those are the scenes where I really feel like they are not superheroes in the ways that other superheroes are, and I kind of understand where this whole mutant slash, you know, why they are called mutants and not superheroes. I kind of see the difference because they can't control the powers in the same way, and sometimes they just don't want the powers. Like Beast and Mystique in this movie, they don't enjoy their powers or their defects they have gotten for being a mutant, but it's just how they are. The end battle of X-Men First Class is great. It is an amazing end battle, in my opinion. Seeing the Magneto and Professor X and Mystique and Beast and all those working together is quite amazing. It is probably, yeah, I would say it is my favorite battle sequence in the X-Men franchise so far. I haven't seen Apocalypse, of course, but the other movies are very character driven, which, you know, X-Men First Class is very character driven too. Uh, but I feel that the end scene, the whole battle at the end, is very great. It's just great and exciting, and it is fun to watch, but at the same time, very take itself seriously. Like it's not too dark and not too lighthearted, but it's fun, but take itself seriously, and I really like that. But overall, I think X-Men First Class is a great X-Men movie. Yes, there are some plot inconsistencies if you compare it to the first movies made by Bryan Singer, but that's just how this franchise have turned out, unfortunately, kind of. But it's still an amazing movie in many aspects when it comes to how the characters are built up. I mean, you can really see how the characters in X-Men and X-Men 2 were the characters in this movie when we talk about Professor X and Magneto. And it has, like I said, some amazing action and end battle sequence that I really like. And yeah, my final words on X-Men First Class is the true origin of X-Men, told in an entertaining, funny, and exciting manner with great action, yet also contains the dramatical core and seriousness the X-Men franchise always had. I'm going to score X-Men First Class an 8 out of 10. I would say that it's kind of hard to put my finger on why this movie is an 8, actually. I would say it's very fun and light-hearted for being an X-Men movie, and but also has the very serious moments in it. And I believe the mix between that makes this a very entertaining movie that maybe other X-Men movies sometimes isn't. I guess kind of weird ending to my video here, but yeah. Overall, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and leave a nice comment if you want to, or leave a mean comment if you want to. This has been your Uncle Grga. Thank you for watching.